I'm Kate Hildreth, Creative Director at DailyClout. In mid-2023, my husband and I decided to move away from the city to a small rural town where we are slowly but surely transforming a commercial building into our dream home. Along the way, we're playing with our 3 adorable cats, learning new ways to live and renovate on a budget, and taking in the beautiful landscape around us. We're constantly trying to find ways we can make our home self-sufficient, take health and wellness into our own hands, and truly embody a lifestyle of freedom. Follow the journey here on Homestead Revival. Welcome back to Homestead Revival. I'm Kate Hildreth, and today we're going to do a little bit of a different kind of DIY project. So a little bit of a break from the wood-burning stove content, although that's very exciting. We're going to be working on our dining room table, which we are building from old barn beams, which is really cool. So I'm going to show you that process in a minute. Before we get started, I have a funny story to tell you. Last week, we were chopping down a new tree to store the wood in our woodshed for wood burning and heating our house. And our property is very hilly, and there's a lot of ridges and kind of steep hills. And in typical city newbie fashion, we decided to back the truck up to load the wood into, and we got stuck. And the more that we tried to get out, the more stuck we got, the farther down the hill we went. And anyways, it was kind of a disaster. We tried to shove things under the wheels to try to get out. We tried lots of things. Anyways, we couldn't get out, and we ended up having to call a neighbor to get his tractor and pull us out. So that's kind of a nice little anecdote and representation of small town kindness around here, which is really nice. Get to know your neighbors. And yeah, it's nice to be able to rely on people like that. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into building our dining room table. And we're using barn beams, like I said. And it's going to be pretty rustic and meaty. And we're going to be using all thread to basically pinch the beams together so there's no big gaps, because they're barn beams, so there's going to be a little bit of warping and unevenness, and we want it to be, as flush as possible so that you don't have snagging and things like that. So I'll show you that process, and it's quite a lot of sanding, so get excited. So these are the barn beams and what they look like. We had them split in half long ways by a local woodworker, and as you can see, there is some rot going on, so we're going to have to trim them down. Just so we have fully solid pieces. Cut off any excess. And then pinning all of these together with that all thread that I talked about. So it's drilled all the way through and then pinned. And then this is how we're going to do the legs. We have little routed out holes and then sort of pegs on the legs themselves. And then we've tapered the edges of this support so that you can sit on either side or in between the legs. And today I'm going to be working on sanding the legs because we need to get those done. And then the other side of the table, we're just smoothing out the seams so that there's no snagging. So if you're wearing, nice pants or a dress or something, it's not going to snag because this is the underside of the table. So it's where your nice clothes are going to be. So we want it as smooth as possible. And then we're going to put spar urethane on it to make it even smoother. And these are the bolts we're going to be using to attach the legs and secure them in that hole on the support beams. So it's a work in progress. As you can see, there's a huge color difference between what's sanded and what's not. It is treated wood, so what I'm working on right now is one of the legs, and the side I'm working on is treated, and so it's quite a bit darker, as you saw from the rest of the table. So the reason for that is because the rest of the table, the beams were sawed in half. And so basically the treated part of the wood gets shaved off. The legs, we don't have that. And so it's going to be a ton of sanding before we get it to be a similar color to the rest of the table. So it just takes a lot of patience, to be honest. We're using 80 grit, I believe, so quite a bit harder. And then we're going to go down to 320 when the wood starts to get smoother. And then I'm just going to rotate on each side and kind of gradually go into those creases because you don't want to tear the edge of the paper. And sometimes it moves around a bit because the sander is pretty powerful. So I have to like hold it with one hand and sand with the other, kind of go back and forth a lot in the same spot just to get those dark marks out of the wood. So you can kind of see the lighter wood coming through and those nice lines. There's, some roughness and some kind of like pores almost. And so I'm just kind of going back and forth with the sander to get out all of that roughness and make it as smooth as possible. We're not worried too much about all of the wood being level, but we do want it to be smooth. We're going for the rustic look, but we want it to be, functional. And again, we don't want clothing to snag on it or anything like that. So we want to make sure that sanding is done right. And it really does take a lot of patience because this takes a while. And also my neck was killing me because it's just a lot of bending over and sanding and so you can see how dark the underside of that leg is because it's treated wood. And there's the all thread again, which is really helping to pin those beams together so that we can get the seams as small as possible. So this is kind of a 360 view of what we're working on. And then those are the routed out holes that the legs fit into. And then they'll be secured with those bolts that I showed you. So my husband is showing me that on some of these legs and pieces of wood, there's like little wood shavings that it's really hard to get them smooth, but also they're too thin to not move around when you're sanding. And so taking a chisel to those just to get them out of the way so we don't spend hours sanding a little piece that we can just scrape off and then smooth over with the sander. So we're just taking a chisel to those because it's a lot faster and easier and it's going to turn out better. The spar urethane that we're going to put on the wood is going to be able to soak in better if it doesn't have those little shavings separating the spar urethane from the rest of the wood. So here I am chiseling away, so you can kind of see what it looks like with those thin kind of, I don't even know what you would call them, just kind of dead wood that's kind of sitting on top and not quite flush with the rest, not quite attached. So getting rid of those shavings is going to make sanding a lot easier and also just more effective, again, with the spar urethane going and soaking in deeper into the wood. Before we continue, I want to thank our valued sponsors for their support. First, I want to thank our partners at The Wellness Company. This team of renowned medical professionals, including Dr. Peter McCullough, Dr. James Thorpe, Dr. Harvey Risch, Dr. Drew Pinsky, and other truth-seeking doctors. They have crafted The Wellness Company's emergency kit, which looks like this. It's full of life-saving medications, antibiotics, ivermectin, you name it. It also comes with this guidebook, so you can kind of go through and see what each medication is for, what it's used to treat, side effects, all of that good stuff right in here. So this is the ultimate solution for preparedness. Don't wait for the next crisis to catch you off guard. Visit dailyclouthealth.com and use promo code KATE for an exclusive 10% discount. I also want to thank our partner at Charlize Skincare. According to the FDA, companies in the United States are allowed to market skincare products as non-toxic while still containing up to 49% toxic ingredients, which is wild. Those ingredients can actually make you age faster, disrupt your hormones, and may even cause serious illnesses. Charlize is an organic, toxic-free skincare line with zero toxic ingredients that is anti-aging and made with all natural ingredients. So stop supporting companies that are marketing you toxins disguised as skincare. Instead, reverse aging with toxic-free skincare from Charlize, made right here in the USA. Go to charlize.beauty and use promo code KATE for 25% off your order today. This is from Heaven's Harvest. So this is an heirloom vegetable seed kit. This is also really awesome because it comes with this breakdown, all the things you need to know if you're like me and you are helpless when it comes to growing anything. So the great thing about Heaven's Harvest is they have a variety of products, not just seeds. They have freeze-dried food kits, which have a 25-year shelf life. It's freeze-dried, not dehydrated, because freeze-drying removes 99% of water. Each food variety is sealed by UV and radiation-resistant mylar foil pouches containing 6 servings each. So that's NASA-developed packaging. All the food is non-GMO and made right here in the USA. All the packs are resealable for later consumption, and they have gluten-free options. So this is one of the things that I love about Heaven's Harvest is that they have all of these different food options, seed kits, freeze-dried kits, all good things to prepare you for whatever might be coming this year and the following year. We all want to be as prepared as possible, and that means having a stock of food. So if you're ready to take charge and be prepared for whatever this year might bring, go to heavensharvest.com/Kate and use promo code Kate for 10% off. Please support DailyClout by supporting our sponsors. Then when we take a break, it's really nice because there's a golf course close to us, so we can just go out and I don't really golf, but I like to walk the course, and it's finally getting warm enough that we can walk the course, which is really nice. A lot of the grass is still dead on the fairway, but there's lots of really pretty big trees, and again, it was just perfect weather. So once the sanding's done, this is what the spar urethane application is looking like. We're doing 3 coats and then sanding by hand in between if there's any granules, and you want to apply the spar urethane with a t-shirt because it doesn't leave behind pieces of fuzz. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to DailyClout. You can sign up for our free newsletter at the bottom of our homepage. And also, if you haven't yet, we have a new Substack, Best of DailyClout, where we're posting lots of fun original content. So subscribe to that so you don't miss updates. You can find me on Twitter and Getter at Kate Hildreth. I sometimes post smaller updates on there. And then, of course, support our sponsors at dailyclouthealth.com. Promo code Kate for 10% off, and charlize.beauty, promo code Kate for 25% off, and Heaven's Harvest at heavensharvest.com/Kate, promo code Kate for 10% off. Until next time, we will keep chugging along here at the homestead.
Hey everyone, it's Dr. Naomi Wolf, and I'm so happy to be joining you all on Locals. Please join us at DailyClout on Locals. Unbelievable news, opinion, liberty lifestyle, which is helpful videos and blogs about how to get off the grid, do things cheaper, more organically, more holistically. We also have open debate. We bring people who may not agree with each other to talk to each other, which is so rare these days, to have the real discussions that are censored online. We also have incredible coverage of freedom around the world. Everything from the truckers' protests in Canada, when that was happening, to our launch of a bill which passed in 33 states to ban vaccine passports, to open schools, to end emergency law, coverage of censorship in Ireland, of vaccine passports and central bank digital currency in Europe, all the ways that the globalists are trying to restrict our liberties. And we've got amazing resources like Bill Camp, where you can send any state or federal bill through social media, press a button that'll explain it to you, vote on it so you can show your rep or the bill sponsor how you feel about it, and you can basically stop bad bills and promote good ones and get them passed. And another amazing resource we've got is called Communities, which is a censorship-free, surveillance-free Facebook alternative. Again, that's Dr. Naomi Wolf. I'm CEO of DailyClout. Come join us, join the discussion, join the community here on Locals.